All right, welcome to Align Trading. Going over today's SPY recap and live analysis before taking a look at what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing here in the morning in the pre-market brief for Discord members, I explained that with the gap up, we now need to be watching as we are between the 5 and 20-day moving averages. You can see, right, we have the 5 and 20 here, and that we need to be back above 580.89 if we are looking to go long, where I want to see. So this prior support turned to resistance, which we were never able to do. And as I drew here, watch this level if we do start to see some selling from here. If there was a short pop in the morning, you could be looking for something like that right at that level, but we did not even make it quite that high. So I initially said, right, not sure if we'll make it back to that 20-day moving average today, which we did, but I explained that we need to fill the gap at the pre-market gap up that we had right here, and then from there, if we do get below that, then you can look for that retest, which we'll go over on the 1-minute chart and how this massive bounce formed off of it right at that 20-day. So now we'll go to the 1-minute chart and talk about this intraday, as you cannot really see too much just off of this 30 other than what we explained with this inverse head and shoulder and this cup trying to close at this level, but we never saw a handle to continue moving up and see that retest. Now on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithm. So first thing here off the open, we initially have this orange selling algorithm followed by this white controlled buying, and we form this head and shoulder right there. We try to form this inverse cup as well, but we are unable to continue through with this handle right here like I explained to be watching. Same thing right here, right? If you're looking to short this, we need to see that head and shoulder forming. Otherwise, you can look for this inverse head and shoulder that's forming, as well as that cup and handle right there. So if you took that, right, very choppy, but could have took a quick scalp right there. So as we continue chopping around in this range right here, I explained that you have to be paying attention to this inverse cup and handle trying to form right here, as well as this head and shoulder that you can see. And we start forming that right here with that handle. So you could have again taken a nice scalp to the downside, but there is no follow through. Again, with the white algorithm, you can see, right, we're in that green stronger, and we form that head and shoulder inverse cup and handle once again with that head and shoulder as we start making our way to the downside. Now, as I was explaining here, and I will show you on the 30-minute chart, you need to be looking for this inverse head and shoulder if you are looking to go long. We need to close that cup back at this level right here that you can see is resistance, and from there, if this does form, well, we can look to play the upside. And you see here on the 30-minute chart, like I'm explaining, right, if we do within this yellow and blue want to form that, be paying attention above that level. Otherwise, you can continue to see this heading down. And I explained to be watching, right, this first level of that gap. So at this point right here, we fill the gap, and I explain that I am done for the day. I had taken a few pieces of this on the way down with my final target, that gap. Wasn't sure if we were going to see a reversal right here and start heading back up, so just played it safe, did not leave any runners or anything. Ended up missing this right here, which is okay, but I did explain, right, that you have to be paying attention. If this does happen below the gap, absolutely can see the gap and go. So right here we see a bounce with this green, white, and red algorithm once again that you see right here, and we start to form this head and shoulder right there, as well as once again that inverse cup at the 20-day moving average, and we finally reach it right here. Now I explained that from this point you have to be paying attention to if this bounce does start to happen. You can absolutely see this start to head back up and grab that liquidity as we are in the yellow and blue algorithms right here. Otherwise, you want to be seeing that 20-day turning into some sort of resistance with a handle right here. So if a handle had to form, whatever the case may be, or if we went down like that, closed the cup back at yesterday's lows, whatever the possibility was. But you can see that we find those buyers right here and start this massive move back to the upside. So with that bounce off of the 20, you can see how we start to form that inverse head and shoulder, as well as getting back above that morning gap close, and we start to head up, closing this cup right here. Can't quite reach this level right here until later in the day, which I'll show you. So like I was explaining, right, if you are looking to short this, you gotta wait for the structure. Can't just be shorting this move straight up right here. If we want to head back down to that 20-day, you can look for it to turn into resistance and go from there. But this is a strong bounce that you can see right there, and we are breaking out of this yellow and blue selling algorithms right here that I explained you have to be paying attention to. And you can see how we start grabbing that liquidity on the way back up. Now, like I was explaining with this yellow algorithm on the 30-minute chart, you can see it right there as well. Right, you can see that we initially do have that orange selling for a moment down to the 20-day, but from there we start getting back within that yellow and blue as we try to head back up and close the cup. So as we continue moving up, right, I'm explaining you will see this yellow and blue controlled selling beginning to work on the way up if this move does continue, and you continue to see that algorithm, right, yellow and blue this entire time, as there are several scalps in here. So again, right, I'm explaining watch the yellow and blue controlled selling algorithms as well as the levels coming up, and if we do start to form an inverse cup right at this level, pay attention to it. You see how we start forming that head and shoulder right here, but we cannot close that inverse cup and form the handle down to this level right here that we need to continue breaking down, and a potential inverse cup back to the 20-day as the yellow and blue continue to work. So with this here as well, I was explaining on the 30-minute chart that you have to be seeing us above this 579.77 level if we do want to form that inverse head and shoulder and continue moving higher. Otherwise, if you are looking to short this, you need to be seeing the head and shoulder back below that gap level, right? That inverse cup, which you can see we cannot form as well. So we're basically just within this range right here, right? You get that inverse cup close off of that head and shoulder right there. You see the handle with the white and red move down, but at that close, we do not continue this handle within the white and continue seeing the move down. You have another chance right here as well. Same thing with this handle, tries to form, even closes another inverse cup, but at that inverse cup close, you see how the blue and yellow controlled selling right here is still in control, and we begin to form that inverse head and shoulder and grab that liquidity and finally close that level back at 579.77 for the close of that larger cup. Now at the end of the day, we run out of time to see that handle building right here, and we do not get that continuation. Now it is time to go over what to be watching into tomorrow. So as you can see right here, we have retested this 20-day now twice. This is the second bounce, and you can see how this inverse head and shoulder as well as that cup is forming. Now this will probably happen in the pre-market if there is a move back up, but you know that there is this liquidity back to the upside and this 5-day moving average, so be paying attention to that, as we will likely get a retest of this, which will probably coincide with this 580.89 level as it trends down a bit lower tomorrow. Now, remember, if we cannot break above this level right here, well then of course we can still head down, and that even though that we have the two bounces off this 20-day, well, we can look for that 20-day to become resistance and us start to form that head and shoulder back to the downside and close that inverse cup back at the lows. And from there, we will want to be seeing, right, maybe a handle and start grabbing this liquidity down here off of this right there. You can see how we still need to break that level. As of now, this is exactly what you want to see with this inverse cup close. And from here, we are building this handle within the green we'll want to see this white tapering, right, which we might have. You can see us rejecting that right here. So if this does start to head down, be paying attention to that. But at the same time, right, you can see the yellow and blue controlled selling that we have. And if we do want to bounce off of that 20, you can see how this 5 sets up this move right here. And we could be back at all-time highs before you know it if that purple continues to work. So on the daily chart, right, talking more about the moving averages, you can see we are still below the 5 and the 20 is here, and we will start to see these make a move. But if you want to see further downtrend, we want to see this 5 remain resistance, get below the 20 right here, and from there we can look for the bottom Bollinger retest over the next week or so. If this does start to form right here, you can see how we have this possible large head and shoulder playing out. But again, if this is just a pullback to the 20-day like we do, when the 5 flattens out, we already got the upper Bollinger retest right here, 5 flattening out, 20 retest. If we regain the 5, we're just back up in the trend. That is all I have for the video, so thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.